It's very important in reference to the history of when I was held hostage in Arkansas, and these dirty government people was trying to steal my penis when I was younger. And I was held hostage in Arkansas, and I went to school there because they were holding me hostage. And my mother, Doris Duke, had court cases. Look up the information in the court records of what my mother's name is on those court records and who my father is on those court records in Arkansas. When they had kidnapped me, they'd held me hostage in Arkansas for a while. They tried to steal several inches of my penis. I was born with a large penis. I was born in a royal family history of my mother and father and grandparents. That's on record too. Look it up. Go to court about it. Put it in the newspaper. Calling me a liar? You better put it in the fucking newspaper anyways. But in reference to the police department in Arkansas, they need to go public with the police records from back in the 80s and whenever it was that they had held me hostage in Arkansas. My mother had to go over and have court cases in reference to these people holding me hostage in Arkansas. And these people had tried to steal from my penis size. And in Arkansas, the satellite controller was hitting me in the front teeth and the mouth sometimes when I was in Arkansas when they were holding me there, when they were holding me hostage. We need photographs of the house that they were holding me hostage in. That has to be in the newspaper too. And another thing of importance, when I went to school there, they tried to murder me with satellites several times. And the satellite controller was hitting me in the spinal cord, hitting me in the face, hitting me in the back. This was like 30 plus years ago, you know what I mean? Even longer than that. But, somebody has dates of certain information. But we want that in the newspapers nationwide. But the politicians over there, they were conspiring against me and my mother, even though my mother was a widow after my father had been murdered. And my father was frozen. My father got murdered by dirty government people trying to steal from my father and my mother. And people was holding me hostage in Arkansas. They held me hostage in Union City, Indiana. They held me hostage in Richmond, Indiana. They held me hostage in several different places. And, in other places they were holding me hostage as they were trying to run across the country, these bad government people, when they had kidnapped me. So this has to be in the record books too, and it has to be on public record. But the politician that was in office during that time, that person's name, I'm not sure, did they have criminal charges against that politician or any of those political figures in Arkansas back in the early 80s or when it was? Anyways, that satellite man was trying to break my spinal cord and made me shit in the classroom. I was like, oh, teacher, I gotta go to the bathroom, And then I shit out a lot of blood. The satellite man did that. And that satellite man's been hitting me in the spinal cord for years. The satellite man's been trying to make me shit every day. It's attempted murder. Every time. And those politicians that was holding me hostage, they were gay politicians and they're pedophiliacs from back in the 80s. They tried to steal several inches of my penis because, I was born with a large penis. And there is records of that. My mother had court cases in reference to people damaging my teeth back in the 80s, trying to call me their relative, trying to call me their child. They tried to steal my penis back then. These pervert men. I have royal family history too. These people didn't have royal family history of any kind in reference to anything that was associated with my parents of American royalty. First world country royalty is different than other countries of royalty. Don't forget that. Basic information. Friendly acknowledgments in reference to certain friendly families of royalty around the world, but there's some royal families I'm not friendly with because they've tried to murder me and they've tried to steal from me. And they were possibly involved in the murder of my parents. And that has to be in the records too. Whichever ones are conspiring against me, whichever ones are conspiring against my ownership of my mother and father's estates. So in reference to the police records of Arkansas,